Let's start the portrait from life. The colors: white, yellow, red, carmine, pink, durable. Well, here I have accordingly the main ones: cerulean blue, phthalo blue, and brown, Ambranigrad natural. All the others basically are not that important. Let's start by finding the most basic shapes. This way, we'll find the silhouette and get an idea of the composition we want. I'm mixing a regular color, something like brown or orange, which will work well as a mid-tone. Then for the skin, I'm mixing a color like this, maybe even with a bit of pink and not too pure. The shape will follow the composition. The face is drawn quite large so that you can really understand how it's positioned, how it's drawn, and to clearly see the format, which is 150 by 60. And the very first thing I do is find this turn here, and accordingly, the silhouette shape of the head. The next step I take is to cover everything with a wash of the same color. My goal is to show you the simplest approach that I came to myself, gradually working with portraits. What else did I do? I only covered one thing with color, but it would have been better to cover the darker color too. So accordingly, I take more liquid and cover everything as well. Right away. By the way, you can also throw it in somehow so that we don't have a white canvas that interferes with the perception of tonal relationships. Everything seems darker relative to white, so we can make it lighter than it actually is. This color is quite good, and of course there's a bit too much liquid, so I'll use just a little. Here. Basically, this approach is like the beginning of watercolor, only we're going through the dark while they go through the light. As the neighbors pointed out, the next stage, it turned out pretty cool. We'll start to separate the hair from the face, and then we'll find the shadows on the face. So we're trying to catch some exact hair color here. Right now the angle is good, it doesn't blend in, and if we do a straight on view it'll be easier, but usually drawing yourself at an angle is more difficult and more interesting. I've separated the hair, so now I basically have the head. Here, by the way, I also used more cool shades. Right now I'm just adding blue to our brown color, or this one. This is Turkish blue. I get this gray color, and of course I tone it down. There's hair everywhere. Here's a part, the lower part of the face. There's stubble plus the reflection from the shirt. This cool shade also works really well, so we carefully blend it in everywhere too. At the bottom, basically everywhere, and we approach the neck. The neck is also basically about the same tone, so now I've gradually moved on to searching for tonal relationships. On the face and the shirt, you can immediately sketch in the eye sockets. We have the face itself, right? And we need to find this face. For example, in terms of proportion, our main proportions are the brow line, the base of the nose line, and the chin line, which roughly divide the face into 3 parts. I usually don't construct it, I just go ahead and find it right away. Our eye sockets, look, don't forget about this facial axis, so that our eye sockets, like glasses, are in the right place, so they don't run off to the side somewhere. Because now if we look at the model with him, the beginning of the eye socket is roughly in the middle of the head. This is very important to maintain and not lose. Lately, I tend to just go over this quickly, and even the teeth. I do all of this almost automatically now. Anyway, I remembered to mention it. Right now, I'm just trying to understand the main shapes using patches to catch the main forms with patches. Once I've found these three parts that simplify the search for the main forms, I move on. I'm refining it with our dark tone. We have a shadow under the nose, just a shadow under the nose, and basically even this side part isn't needed at all for now. By the way, we can lighten some areas right away with a cloth. For example, here the forehead seems to be the right size, and we'll find the eyebrows a bit higher as well, something like that. Now the contrasts have disappeared, so I want to add some contrast here as well. So, and where there's a bit of gray at the temples, you can add a little cool blue and a bit of white. I'm already going into detail, but we don't need details yet. Basically, the nose. I've roughly found the shape of the nose. One of the hollows is roughly found. Now the shadow under the nose is denser. I'll lay it in here. For now, I'm working very broadly, not going into details. I work on the main shapes as long as possible, because if we start adding details, it might be just that area we're detailing. It's very hard and time-consuming to redo things later, but at this stage it's very easy to move things around and make changes. Look, the nasolabial folds are here, and you can barely see the lips here. The shape of the face, we'll easily refine it now as well. We can even make it bigger. Right now we've found the shadows. I want to keep things in order so I'm not jumping around. We've found the shadows now. Now we need to make the light with a denser color. We take not too much, since we're learning. We take and mix yellow, white, and red densely with a lot of color. We get a color like this, roughly, and we lay it down densely on our light areas. Just a little bit. You can, Sergey, just a little, really just a bit, yeah. Don't even pick up too much. A little further, that's it. And with this dense peach color, so far I'm not really using any cool shades. Well, maybe just a little here, of course, but mostly at the beginning. We're not rushing straight into the cool tones, again, just to keep it simple. Although lately, I often start with cool ones right away. But for now, we don't need to complicate things. So a more pinkish shade wouldn't hurt. I added it, even a more orange one actually. Here it's dense already in terms of color. So we don't use any liquid at all anymore because our canvas is already wet. Well, maybe just whisper a little hint in the ear, but it's too early. So this is the brush in this color, but basically I can use a darker one. I won't mix it right away. Let's leave it for now. Now look, where the eyes are, the eye sockets aren't completely dark, so we mix a color that's lighter than what's there, but darker than what we're using for the highlights. Alright, so it's slowly coming together. I'm starting to see the overall shape a bit. That's good. The eyes maybe a bit more. Add a bit more. White, but when it's too bright, it kills it right away. All the volumes definitely need to be darkened and blended. The lower eyelids, so I also make it a bit darker. We can tilt it just a little bit like this, like that. Well, overall, I even found the panel right in the corner. Now we'll clarify and add a bit more detail. Already, the eyes are very interesting. Even cool to paint, deep, expressive. The nose is distinctive. I haven't found it yet, but apparently that's how it will be. Oh, by the way, we have really cool highlights under the eyes. The color is kind of like this, as if the color is interesting, but too much
Yellow.
So the nose is already 2K. At this stage, you start looking around at some things, seeing some things that haven't been touched at all yet. And even what seems more or less good in the main spot doesn't seem so normal when you look around. You can see there are a lot of inaccuracies. My idea is to be able to do these portraits in half an hour so that they look expressive and already feel pretty much finished. It will still be like a sketch, like a study, like an etude, but I actually like these studies. They have a lot of life in them. Something that you captured right now. So what do we have right now? I'll add a bit more here on the lower part. Then I'll find a bit more over there, and as if there's more yellow here. This is a really good light. Let's boldly add it in a few more places. You can do this on the transitions. We've done the neck. Actually, sometimes I forget, even though I should be working on it together with the face. Usually nothing matters to me except the face, so I end up forgetting everything else. I'm ready to paint faces every day.
All day long.
The colors on the face are really bright, a real joy for the eyes, and I try to convey them just as brightly. All right, well, I'm ready to take a look, and I'll come over to you now. Just sit there and wait for the result. It looks like real life, but not quite. And the vouchers, obviously, although what about us, the vouchers?